Hey, Haunted Heart listeners, it's October, and that means it's time to get spooky at Shocktober. Every fall, Shocktober's Paxton Manor in Leesburg, Virginia, transforms into a 4-story, terrifying, award-winning haunted house, giving thousands of patrons the scare of a lifetime. Built in the late 1800s, Paxton Manor has become the topic of many urban legends and a must-see attraction for thrill seekers across the country. The real reason for Shocktober? It's the largest fundraising event for the Ark of Loudon, a local nonprofit creating a lifetime of opportunities for children with special needs and their families.
New this year at Shocktober, Paxton Manor is transformed into the horrifying Paxton Hall, a haunted boarding school with a mysterious past. Patrons can also experience Shocktober like never before through the Trail of Terror, a 3-day passport guide to Loudoun County restaurants, wineries, breweries, places to stay, and special events, with a haunted twist. During the Shocktober 2018 season. Plus, the more places you visit, the more prizes you win, including a chance to win 2 tickets to the iHeartRadio's Jingle Ball.
With the new Fears and Beers package, Shocktober fans can get shocked in luxury as they ride in a limo or van to Loudoun County breweries and Shocktober. Located in the Haunted Manor, Shocktober attendees can also race against the clock in the new Escape Paxton, a 5-minute escape room adventure of sheer confusion.
Shocktober 2018 is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from October 5th through November 4th. Tickets are $35 online and $40 at the door. Tickets and more information at www.shocktober.org.
And who knows, you might even see someone you recognize.
Neighbors claimed they practice witchcraft.
Quiet. Everything will be
I relate to her laugh because I kind of feel like I also have that laugh.
I feel like you do too. You know who else I feel like has that laugh?
Who?
Your mother.
Yeah, that's true. It is true. I got my cackle from my mother, like every good witch.
Like every good witch.
We just passed that laugh down to our I wanted to say to our siblings. I forgot what, to our breed, to our brood, to our...
Or brood?
A brood. To a brood.
I
think that's a word.
Thing. No, I mean, I know that's a word, but
yeah.
I don't think
I think brood means like a gaggle of children that you made or took.
That you made? I made this brood of
I
children.
made this brood. Yes. That's totally what I'm going to refer to my children as.
Okay, well.
My collective group of children.
A brood.
A brood. This is my brood. No. So, how you been? I feel like it's been forever since we recorded. I don't know why.
Great.
Yeah?
You were actually asking me. I thought you weren't asking me.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I wasn't, but I didn't want to be rude.
Oh, okay.
So, I let you.
Okay. I've been great,
Okay.
you know. I've been fine. You know, they say that you're fine and you're not fine.
Oh my God, yes. One of my favorite fucking vines.
Yeah, they're like, oh, great. They talked about that last episode.
You just have to say that you're fine, but you're not fine.
But you're
It's
not. I'm
fine.
No, what I should have done was have said, oh, I'm fine, and then played that.
That tragic music. Doon, doon. The podcast switches to grayscale.
How, yeah.
And nobody knows because we're not in that right medium for that.
No, we're not. We're not visual.
Yeah, it's one of those times,
Unless
guys,
you
where
paid for it.
Unless you paid for it. That is true. We are visual on patreon.com/thehauntedheart. You can fill your eyeballs up with all of us that you want.
Yeah.
Some of it you might not want, but you're going to get it anyway.
You're going to get it anyway.
We actually have right now, I meant to call this out on the podcast last week, but we have these really fucking cool digital art downloads that one of our listeners who runs the Violet Moth shop on Instagram, it's at Violet Moth. You should check it out. She has a lot of really cool designs, but she is a listener of the show. Her name is Dale. Hi, Dale. And she designed a bunch of really cool stickers for us to... not stickers. Why did I say
I was
stickers?
like, why are you saying stickers? No, they're digital downloads, but would make good stickers.
Right. They're digital downloads that would make really good stickers. Sorry, that's like a merge thing that just popped out of me randomly. It's fine.
So they may be coming.
They might be. But right now they are free for Patreon members on patreon.com/thehauntedheart.
The Haunted Heart.
Yeah.
I am so excited
About what?
about everything.
We are in the thick of it.
Literally everything. I'm excited about this weather that we're having. I mean, granted, our hometown did get destroyed
Yeah.
by Hurricane Michael. No less.
I feel bad because, like, when we heard about Hurricane Michael coming, a lot of people sent that to me and they were like, LOL.
It's a
and I
joke.
kind of was like, but, like, also it ate our town.
It literally destroyed our town. Like,
And our town was kind of like the only town. Like, everybody else, I think, was
well,
like...
no, Florida got hit really bad, too.
Did they get fucked up real bad?
Yeah, Florida got hit pretty hard, and I'm not sure about the spaces in between.
I don't feel like
But,
it was that bad in the spaces in between.
But
She's
no, our
sleeping,
hometown
y'all.
got hit pretty hard. But great weather.
Now, the cold front. you're enjoying
Hurricane
it?
Michael literally brought forth fall. He was like,
He was mad.
listen, bitch, bring your ass.
It's October. I can't have this.
He's like, get
My
your
movie's
ass on
coming
over
out
here.
soon
Yes.
in about a week. I ain't trying to have none of
A
this. Let me
movie
roll
or-
on through here.
Wait, a movie or more like a religious experience? Like,
I mean, we
let's
have
be
to call
real.
it something. And I just feel like there's not enough letters to put a religious experience on the poster.
There are probably going to be tears.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. I mean, it's going to be good, but it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Are we seeing it Thursday night?
We are seeing it as soon
At
as
8
it fucking
p.m.
comes. We are seeing it hot off the motherfucking film reel, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we are seeing it, and I am so excited. And I just can't hide it.
he says as he like just stares at me with this blank expression. I just can't hide how overjoyed I am. So we have some Patreon people to thank.
What? More?
We do.
We've got more fucking
We do. We got
people?
more motherfuckers up in here.
God damn.
I know. Y'all really trying to give us some fucking work on this
Listen,
podcast. We didn't start this podcast to work, Sally.
Jesse Raphael.
We did not. No, it's really cool. I don't understand it, but it's really cool. So thanks. But we have two members. We have two members to welcome to our Patreon family. So, do you want to start? Or should I start? We have two dressed candles, as always, for our invocation.
Yeah, I will start. And our first name is Alyssa B., who is a member of our Haunted Heart Harem.
And I have Denise S., who is a new member of our Stay Spooky Squad.
Fuck you.
Your candles are lit. You are right beside us as we do this episode of the podcast, and we will keep them burning all through the night, full of good intentions for you, sending forth health, wealth, happiness, and above all, our undying gratitude. Mm-hmm. So, what are we getting into today?
Well, you know we always love a theme
We do.
here at the Haunted Heart Podcast.
We do. Honey, that's how you know we're an LGBTQ plus friendly show because we always have a theme.
There's always a theme.
We love
I
a
love
theme.
a theme. Now, that's,
Mandy.
that's another thing I love. A theme.
It's true.
One thing that angers me is when people say there's a theme and then it's like
And then it's not
half-assed
really,
or not really a
yes,
theme.
Yes, a poorly implemented theme.
I'm like, I said this. I'm not. I don't try to be a Halloween snob, but it is what it is. You know, I judge people based on their Halloween decorations, and it's fine.
And it's fine.
And it's totally fine. No, we are digging into some good old fashioned. We're digging right into the roots of Halloween.
And fucking gnarled up, fucking ginger root looking, fucking spooktastic roots of this holiday.
That are down in the earth.
In that nasty dirt smelling earth. In that black dirt too. Not the regular dirt that lays on top. That black, that good dirt. That soul.
We're going all the way down there today. And we're discussing Samhain. And you better know what I mean when I say Samhain, or else I will find you.
And
no,
you better
it is
know.
not Samhain. It is not. Don't ever say Samhain in my presence. Ever. It is Samhain.
I wonder if you try really hard enough if they can hear you cut your eyes. Like, like on the podcast, they just hear and they just know.
I'm pretty sure I could put a sound effect in if need be. But yes, one of my favorite subjects. I absolutely love talking about this. I could talk about it all day. I talk about it at work sometimes. People get really tired of me and the things that I talk about.
Of me, period. People get really tired of me.
Yes, that part is true.
I'm
learned,
tired as hell of you, Jesus God.
God, me too. Put me to bed, shit,
Damn.
for at least a good week. No, because then I missed the Halloween movie, and you wouldn't want me if I missed the Halloween movie when I woke up from that.
True.
So that's no.
Not true.
So, Samhain, the Festival of the Dead, also known as the Third Harvest, the Shadow Fest, the Vigil of Samhain, or Old Hallowmas.
I like the Shadow Fest. That
Me
sounds
too.
fun.
Doesn't
She
it
sounds
sound
fun.
like a great outdoor Halloween party?
It does. I'm putting it in my pocket. I'm just
Shadow
going to put that
Fest.
one in my pocket. We're just
Shadow
going to fold it
Fest.
up, keep it there.
Yeah. So it is at this time that the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest, and we can have communion with the dead.
Fuck yeah.
We can
What
have
you wanna talk
communion
about, Aunt
with
Susie?
all those people we swiped left for. Or is it right? What did we
I
say
think
on the
left is
episode?
bad.
We swiped left. You can talk to all those people you swiped left for on Twitter.
Yeah, left is now I'm basing that knowledge not off of a knowledge of Tinder. As we all know, I have never tried that platform. I don't consider it fair to people on Tinder to see me on Tinder and think that I'm a sane individual. I just don't think that that's very fair of me. I think that you need to see me mid breakdown and then think she's kind of cute. Maybe I want my life
Well, no,
to
they
be
just
like
first
that
have
breakdown.
to schedule like a first date and
Right.
with you, and then when you show up 30 minutes late and your fucking chaos, your cloud of chaos comes in.
A literal cloud of chaos actually around
And
me.
just a dark cloud starts to form, lightning strikes, and there's dust in the air, and it's just fucking... And then you just see her as she comes in, eyes black, hair blowing in the wind, Beyonce style, and her arms are just delicately or menacingly placed up in the
not
air.
delicate.
And she just comes in and then sits down at the table, and her hair, which has been blowing in the wind, then settles
Just like
softly. Well, hello there.
Hi, nice to meet you. Hi. Hi, I'm Katie.
I'm
Hi, how
Katie.
are you? It's not the voice I use on first dates.
No, I would hope not.
No. But left is usually no. Left is usually bad, which I fucking resent. But left in Latin is sinistra, which is usually
Did you
bad,
just call it a
negative.
fucking demon
No.
in this apartment?
Sinistra is like
Yeah, I
the
feel
left.
like great. Okay.
I mean, it
thanks.
would be like a cute name for a demon, but I
Okay,
don't
you say
think it
that when I
is.
get dragged under my fucking bed tonight and enjoy every fucking second.
Girl,
of
text
it.
me. Yeah, for sure. It's like that meme that I saw this week on, I think I saw it on Instagram. I don't remember. But it was like this girl, it was, or no, maybe it was like a girl who was being haunted by something. And she was like, this demon, like, just smacked me in the ass or something. And then the other person is like, wait, what's he look like, though?
Oh yeah. No, that's the one.
What is it?
That's the one where it's like it says something about a demon smacking you in the ass, and it's like, well, what does he look like?
What's the demon look like? Yes, that would be.
I mean, does he
that
look
would
like
be.
Cole from Charmed? Because
Honey, I had a
I'm
whole
just saying.
era of Cole from Charmed. It was something about Julian. I don't have that last name on the tip of my tongue, but somebody's got it. But his first name is Julian, and he was the background on my HP laptop back in 2004. He was. I have every fucking season of Charmed because of him. I remember there was one episode where he was like, they were about to fight some kind of big evil, and he was training Phoebe in like how to fight and shit, and they were doing like fucking mixed martial arts or some shit in the basement, but they were both just really sweaty and hot, and they're both two very sweaty, very hot people, and I just want that in my life. But you see, I don't look like her.
right,
And
that's okay.
in real life, when we get sweaty like that, it ain't that like that cute.
It's not movie cute. It's not like sweaty movie cute.
It's not.
It's like,
But it's sweaty real cute.
life.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
yeah. There is like 3 inches of fabric under my tits that is just like wet.
Okay,
Kind of cute. Like cute, right?
sure.
I'm red.
We'll go with that today.
I'm red all over my body and my face.
She's
And I'm
red
huffing.
and ready for you.
And it's not cute. And if you touch me, I'll rip your larynx out before I take a fucking shower.
True. Well, getting
Now
back
I just want to
on
fucking talk about Charmed. Like now I'm just like, can we have a podcast where we just talk
podcast
Charmed?
is about charm now.
we just watch an episode every fucking episode.
Love it.
What's our
no,
topic? What month is it?
No. But if you want to find you a nice demon man like Cole, you could,
Now's the time.
Now's the time.
Honey, demon men are in season right now.
They are.
Go out and get you one.
Honey, they got that devil dick.
Yes. Yes, Lord.
You can find them in a number of places where the veils are thinnest. Those being...
Is that like the Costco? Like the veil of my sanity is the thinnest at the Costco?
No, I don't do the Costco. I don't do bulk shopping.
I do for some things. Very specific things. Here they are.
Oh my God.
1, Muddy Buddies. 2, this like basil, this cheese ravioli pasta that they sell at the Costco, and also basil pesto. I am one person, but I can go through a fucking container of like a 32-ounce container of basil pesto in like 2 weeks flat. I have a lot of pesto in me. I'm like 30% pesto
Okay,
right
great.
now.
But no, not the Costco.
Not like Costco. All right.
Not the Costco.
Okay. I see. I'll have to go out of my
You
way.
have to go out of your way. Get out of your comfort zone, Katie. Go to a cemetery.
Not
Okay.
that far out of my comfort zone, to be honest with you.
All right, go to a bridge.
Okay.
You can maybe meet him on a bridge
Okay.
or at a crossroad.
Yeah, I've heard the car.
Don't get hit by
crossroad
a car, though.
one. Yeah.
Or even places where the earth meets the water. So the beach.
Girl, all right.
Or a
Have you a
lake.
vacation?
You can be at a lake, a river,
Okay.
the beach.
Okay. A storm drain.
You can
Tim Curry.
You can go across. You can go down past the crossroads, across the bridge, down to the lake, and meet your demon soulmate.
Okay. I'm down with that. As long as I don't get lost. That sounded like a lot of directions, and you know how I am with
Just
that.
when you hit the Costco, bear right. No, but the magic of this time of the year is very ancient, as we all know, or should know. Okay.
I feel like you're very aggressive to our listeners this episode.
I told you, I'm very passionate. I'm very passionate.
Or
People get
should
very
know.
tired of me.
Period.
Period. And most of our modern day traditions that we carry through Halloween originate from some pretty old Celtic traditions.
I know some things about those traditions.
What do you know?
I know some things.
She knows things, guys.
Well, you know,
She knows
you
places. She
guys
knows
know that
things.
Kenny did his DNA test,
Did I?
and he
What was that?
he
Did
came
I?
out to be
Did I?
mostly. What was the percentage on how Irish you were?
It was like 93.
Okay.
No.
Well, I don't think it was that high because you had some other shit.
In my head, I was.
It was like 105. Thanks. The most Irish, actually. More Irish than Lucky Charms. Thank you.
The most Irish.
More Irish than your
More
mother.
Irish than the motherfucking spring, bitch. What? No, it was like something, it was like 70 something. I can't remember offhand.
All right.
Because it was mostly Irish, and then there was some French and some German. And then there was like 1% from that little island off the coast of Italy.
Sicily?
No, not Sicily. Shit. I can't think of it now. It's where they lived. It's an island where a bunch of people lived to be like well over 100. I can't remember.
Oh,
it off the
yeah.
top of my head.
I know that place.
I've got somebody came from there.
Somebody, why did they ever leave? Well, I also did my DNA test.
Yeah, I know. And you have refused to talk to me about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not hiding anything on it.
But I'm like, is she going to mention? I knew she took it, but she
Oh.
never told me she got it back. She never told me anything about it. She never done anything.
Why didn't you
so
just
she's
fucking ask me like a normal human being?
Because
I found out I was an alien,
I just
and I can't tell you.
I just assumed that you would tell me.
No, I probably
And that
just
if you
forgot.
weren't going to tell me, then there was something you were hiding.
I'm black.
Oh, God.
Actually, I'm not at all, and I'm very upset about that. Actually, deeply, because I thought that I would
You don't have any African in you.
Right, I have no African in me at all, and I'm like very deeply upset by it because I mean, little known fact, your girl studied African studies in college, and I actually speak an African language, and I'm like all into that, and I am not fucking African at all. Fuck my
So
life.
you are the whitest white.
literally the most white. The most white. I got my results back, and that's what
Even
it said.
I've got a little bit of African in me too.
I don't think it's any. I can look at like my points, like percents of a percent,
Yeah.
but I am literally 80% Scottish. Scottish AF.
Yeah.
The most Scottish. Like, hand me a fucking turkey leg and like a fucking pint of grog because I am
Fucking
fucking.
grog.
Yeah. They don't, that's not a Scottish thing.
You just immediately turn into Merida.
Yeah, right? No, she was cute. But sidebar.
Of one of many.
Sidebar to the sidebar. Merida's dad's hot. If you watch that film as an adult person, Merida's dad kind of does a little something for me. And that's kind of how I knew I was Scottish, because he's a large man who just always has a turkey leg in his hand. And something about that was a lot for me. I was like a little hot and bothered
Oh, I love a good turkey leg.
by him. He just looks comfortable. You know what I mean? I love me a fortress of a man that's just like, he's just going to protect you, make sure you eat good, all that important shit. Anyway, 80% Scottish, 20% French and German. There's 2% Italian in there. Take it from wherever. That math doesn't add up, but those are my rough figures. So that's a long way of me saying I, too, am from the Celtic tradition. But the rougher side of it. So
The grog side.
the grog side. I think grog is actually like a Viking thing. I don't think that's what I don't think that word is a Scottish word. It just came to mind, Stream of consciousness. It's fine.
From the turkey leg side.
So one of the most recognizable Celtic traditions that is celebrated as part of Halloween is, of course, the jack-o'-lantern. The jack-o'-lantern is a time-honored tradition, and thanks to a meme that is recently circulating around the internet, more people now know that they used to be made out of turnips,
Yes, they did.
and they were fucking terrifying.
Mm-hmm. They had like little crazy teeth and things. And
Yeah. If you haven't seen that, which you probably have, most people have, but if you haven't seen it, Google jack-o'-lantern turnip. It's pretty cool. So in the modern day, we've gotten used to making our jack-o'-lanterns out of pumpkins, and they're cute little decorations that we carve out a little smiley face and we put it in our yard or on our porch or whatever, and it's this mirth-filled, cute little thing.
yeah, or you do some bullshit like stick some fucking holes in it and call it a decorative pumpkin.
I don't recognize that as
What is literally
part
what
of
fucking
my
ghost
reality.
or demon is that gonna scare? Okay, nobody.
nobody.
What service are you doing for yourself? You're not.
You're not. This is the episode where you just fucking insult everybody. So, back in the day, though, jack-o'-lanterns were a lot more sinister. So the legend of the practice of the jack-o'-lantern stems from this urban legend or tale from Ireland.
Ireland.
Yes,
You know I was waiting for it.
I knew.
You knew I was waiting for
I
it.
was just,
You were trying so hard to avoid that word.
if I just embrace it, maybe it won't annoy me so much. So one night in
That's
Ireland,
what my mother said about me too, but
one night in Ireland, a conniving local drunkard named Stingy Jack trapped the devil in a tree by hacking a sign of the cross into the bark. Mm-hmm. In exchange for letting Satan climb down, Jack had Satan vow never to claim his soul. So Satan said, okay, sure. So then Jack said, all right, I can be the biggest motherfucker ever, because Satan can't claim my soul. So he proceeded to act like a huge dick for his entire life. And when he died, he sure the fuck was not getting into heaven.
those pearly gates were closed. How awkward would that be? He
Right?
gets up there and he's just like standing at the door and he's like, hey guys.
Hey, you gonna let me in? And then they were like, bitch, not going to hell doesn't necessarily mean that you automatically go to heaven. The two are not mutually exclusive. Bam.
He got to the gates and they shut the light off.
Yes. Yes, he did. They were like, we're not home. Just like when those
TV
horrible people
gets
turn the
turned
lights
down.
off on trick-or-treaters.
The TV gets turned down in heaven.
You can hear them watching fucking Three's Company and it just like quiets down. Yeah.
And God's like, shut
You can
the
hear
fuck
him
up.
listening to this podcast and it just like gets quieter.
God's like, shut the fuck up. He'll hear you.
Right. So Jack, being very hurt, tried to return to the devil, but Satan upheld his end of the deal.
So wait, he was like, I can't get into heaven, so let me just go to hell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you got to go somewhere. So Satan says, nope, we made a deal. I'm going to uphold my end of the bargain. And he hurled a piece of coal from hell at Jack for good measure. Left without anywhere to go, Jack placed the blazing coal in a turnip to use as a lantern. The dead man then set out, doomed to wander the earth until he can find an eternal resting place.
I absolutely love this story. It's one of my favorites because Satin is so nice in this story.
Satin. Satin.
No, yeah, I was literally watching. I was watching a Halloween video, and then I started reading the comments on Facebook, which you should never do.
No.
And then literally everybody was like, 2 comments said, and this was unintentional. This is Satin's holiday. And it was completely unintentional. They were serious.
That's
it was
amazing.
a spell. It was, yeah. And then they just got rid for
Do
Phil.
now, do we think it was an autocorrect error, or do we think that they think that Satan is spelled Satan?
Satan.
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 Right? Did we sound it out and make that
Satan.
error? Or
I feel like I would hope that it's a spell check error.
I'm not sure.
Satan.
I'm not sure.
But you never know.
I think maybe we
never
sounded
know.
it out on that one.
But he's so nice in this story.
He
He
said,
gives
no,
you
you
a
made a
light.
deal,
He was
baby.
like, listen, I agreed. You kind of fucked me over, but hey, here's a piece of coal. You can light your way the fuck out of my life.
See your way
You
out,
can see
baby.
yeah, here's a piece of coal so you can see your way the fuck out in front of my gates.
Bye.
Bye. And then he's doomed to eternally walk the earth with
Mm-hmm.
his little lantern. They call him Jack because he is an unnamed man. So back in the day,
Well, his name was Stingy Jack.
well, but that comes from back in the day. Like if you didn't know somebody's name, it was like, oh, he's a Jack,
Like John Doe.
or like a John
just
Doe.
Jack,
So
yeah.
it was just like a Jack. So, and I think there are a couple of like legends where people see Jack wandering around on Halloween night with his lantern lighting the way. So, love that story. It's one of my
Pretty
favorites.
spooky. Yeah, agreed.
Particularly because pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns are like my thing. That's my Halloween sigil, if you will.
So, of course, jack-o'-lanterns aren't the only thing that we inherited from the Celts when it comes to Halloween. Trick-or-treating is also a confluence of various traditions, some of which involve the Celts. Ancient Celts dressed up as evil spirits in order to confuse demons, according to Smithsonian Magazine. Supposedly, also during Samhain, Celtic people would leave out food to placate the ghosts and souls and spirits that would be traveling the earth that night. And eventually, people began dressing up as these otherworldly creatures in exchange for similar offerings of food and drink and candy, etc. In medieval Scotland, Solars would go around begging rich folk for soul cakes on Halloween. Instead of threatening to play tricks, however, they'd pray for people's souls in return for the cake. And I've always wanted a Scottish person to pray for my soul. Because I just feel like that's the most honest prayer, is a drunkard's prayer.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
So these solars would pray for your soul in return for a soul cake. Throughout medieval Europe, that sort of same tradition carried on. Mummering was also something that we would
what?
see. Mummering, mummering. It's when people would dress in disguises and visit neighborhoods while dancing, playing music, doing tricks. That was
Turning
really
tricks?
No. Doing tricks. Juggling and shit like that.
I mean, yeah.
Not juggling dicks, Kenny. So,
Damn. I was really hoping to juggle some dicks.
no. So mummering was a big deal. On feast days, you would see all across Europe, people would kind of go out and put on these costumes and things like that, kind of similar to Carnival, that sort of thing. Time reported Irish and Scottish immigrants had brought souling to the United States during their big migration here in the 1800s. So when all the Scots-Irish came over and founded, like, Appalachia.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they did.
Remember, if you call it Appalachia,
We'll throw
we'll
an
throw
apple.
in Appalachia.
So good.
So when the Scots-Irish came over and populated most of Appalachia, they brought souling to the U.S. But modern-day trick-or-treating really didn't catch on in the U.S. until the 1920s, so it's actually a relatively new sort of thing.
Yeah, it is.
So trick-or-treating was obviously really controversial, especially into the 1950s. Lots of people spoke out against it. According to the American Journal of Plays, quote, gangsters, pranksters, and the invention of trick-or-treating, many adults raised stern objections to trick-or-treating over the decades, as it was often viewed as a form of extortion.
Yeah. Well,
To which I say, fuck off.
Well, there's also the other theory that kids were mean as fuck back then.
They were.
They were mean as fuck. They were mean little shits.
I mean, not all of them, but
Most
some of
of
them
them.
were. It was a hard time to fucking be alive.
I know, but whatever. You're a dick.
You're a dick.
So some very smart people decided that they wanted to placate these unruly children with treats on Halloween night. So that they couldn't get this, so that they wouldn't get their shit tore up.
Yes, that's also a factor in the whole trick-or-treating thing. It's I was actually surprised to I knew that it was something that hadn't been started till the 1920s, but it just feels so I don't know, it just feels like such a tradition for me that it's like weird to think about, like, if you were a kid in the 1910s, you didn't get to go trick-or-treating. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, but for some of these people, though, this was it's that balance between the secular Halloween and then the religious Samhain, or in those customs. So there was actually no, or has been no known documentation of like actual trick-or-treating prior to the 1920s.
Right.
There's some influence there with like the guising, as
Right.
it's also called,
Right.
and you know that the soul cakes and the handing outs of treats in exchange for prayers and all of that good stuff. But like I said, a few smart people were just like, let's give these bastards some fucking candy.
Hey,
You know what I
let's
bet it
fucking
was?
turn this into some
bet
huskies.
somebody-
It was two huskies like you and me. It was us in a former life. And we said, I bet you we could get some fucking candy out of this.
I was going in the
Where's
way
your
of
mask?
the adults and was like, if you just give them some fucking candy, maybe they'll go the fuck away. Like, here, take these treats, get the fuck out.
Like they just open their door and,
And
just throw
then, like,
fucking
and
fistfuls
then-
of candy at children. Get out!
Get out of here.
Get off my perch.
Yeah.
No, I'm very I love trick-or-treaters. I have never lived in an area that had a lot of trick-or-treaters. I would love to be in an area with a lot of trick-or-treaters. I want trick-or-treaters to a level that makes people uncomfortable, that makes people not want to trick-or-treat.
Same.
Because they're like, why do you want this so badly? Like,
It's so weird because the majority of the time, I can't fucking stand kids.
yeah.
Right?
This is like the one night of the year where we're like, all right, come children.
Like, I hear,
We Sarah Sanderson
see
it.
or sense a child anywhere near me, and I'm like, ugh,
yeah.
get away. Gross.
This is the one time that we want them fucking bastards.
But on Halloween, I'm like, all of the children.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's weirder because I'm a man.
Yeah, it is.
Last year, I literally slung candy off of the third floor of my apartment balcony towards the children because it was my
remember
first
that.
time ever being in an area where there were trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
That I was passing out candy for.
And even then, they didn't come to the fucking door. You
no,
threw it off
I
the
threw them out.
balcony.
I'm fairly certain I hit a kid in the head with a Reese's.
Hey,
right in
you
the
know
eye.
what? I wouldn't be mad. What would I do? Turn around, get that Reese's up off that grass, put it in my bucket.
I warned him. I said, listen,
We good?
don't let it hit you, but...
Don't let it hit you.
I slung them out, and I'm fairly certain it was either a Reese's or it was a roll of Sweet Tarts, and it just like
Ooh,
plopped a kid
Sweet
right,
Tarts would suck.
right in the eye. Oh well. Happy Halloween.
Enjoy. That was a trick and a treat. Yeah. So the last tradition that I have, that this one's a little, everybody has jack-o'-lanterns and everybody goes trick-or-treating. But bobbing for apples has kind of fallen out of favor, sadly.
It's not in fashion, but it should be.
It should be. Here's the thing with bobbing for apples. You don't have to use so much teeth. It's about suction. It's about... That's what it's about. You just got to suck them up to your face.
That's
and then
what-
just hold them.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
You just gotta pucker your lips and just...
You just got to...
Yeah.
That's how you cheat.
Yeah.
Bobbing for apples. Anyway, so bobbing for apples actually has origins to that date all the way back to a courting ritual that was part of a Roman festival honoring Pomona. Do you know who Pomona is?
No, but I feel like she has a relation to apples.
Yes, she does. Pomona is the goddess of agriculture and abundance. So when the Romans conquered the British Isles, the Pomona festival was blended with the similarly timed Samhain, a precursor to Halloween. So we kind of had this Roman holiday, which was all about the harvest and agriculture and, feast. And then that's happening at the same time in the fall as Samhain. And so it kind of got blended as the cultures mixed. So the practice of bobbing for apples used to be a form of divination that was performed around the time of this festival honoring Pomona. So people would dunk their heads into a vat of water and try to bite floating fruit in a quest to figure out their future spouse.
Okay.
Here's how it works. So I, as a lady, would take an apple and I would mark it with my mark, whatever that would be, right? And I would toss it into a barrel of water or a tub of water or whatever we're using. And
you're using some nasty ass Roman bath water, I feel like.
Right. It's not good. It's like 23% urine.
I feel like they probably just threw them into the fucking bathhouses.
No. So then the guys would line up and whoever pulled your apple that was marked with your mark out of the water would be who you were destined to marry. And so it was supposed to be like a telling your future sort of thing.
Some guy reaches in, pulls out yours, and it's this fucking black ass apple that's just like
the most goth apple you have ever seen.
And
it's actually dripping blood.
It's dripping blood. It's got a tiny little dagger wedged in it.
Instead of a fucking stem, it's just like a dagger.
Yeah, and then he grabs it, looks at it, and then looks up, and then the cloud forms.
And the hair begins to blow
and
again.
The hair begins to blow. Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi.
In fucking ancient Rome.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, I'm Katie.
I'm Katie. I'm Katie Fuckupamus.
No, you know what else was really... So, yes, it was used as a form of divination, but they also took it a step further and used to put coins. Like, this was... I'm guessing a little bit later, but they used to put coins into it for like a real challenge.
Mm-hmm. So that
you can get in there. That's how you drown.
Get in there.
That's how you drown.
That's true. That is true. I would do that because I want to make sure that my future husband, whoever he may be, is very determined. And I want to make sure he's going to go in there after that apple.
All right.
That is sunk all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
Because life is hard, and I'm also hard. I don't know that came off exactly right, but...
Well, okay, did you have something you need to
I'm going to leave it where it lays.
Is there something that showed up in that birth report of yours that you're not telling me?
No, I did a DNA test and it told me I was a man. What you may not know. It would explain a lot, but it's not true.
Yeah.
The other thing that you can thank Miss Pomona for are those delicious candy apples that you like so much. So since Pomona was a goddess that was often represented by and associated with apples, they used to coat apples. So coating apples in sugary syrup to preserve them is not a new thing. Back in the day, before we had the Frigidaire, they had to preserve food any way that they could. And so one way that they found that kept things from rotting was to just fucking coat it in sugar.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the candy apple idea came about. But early candy apples featured very prominently in Pomona's harvest festivals and celebrations. But the first mention of candy apples being given out as treats at Halloween didn't actually occur until the 1950s.
Okay.
So it took a while for those things to
merge together.
come together.
Yeah, it's interesting how you have these different cultures and how certain things relate to each other. Like, I'm probably going to touch on that in a little bit, but yeah, so...
Go ahead and touch on it.
Well, yeah.
Touch all
touch
over.
Go ahead and tap that.
Touch all of it.
Well, So we've talked about all of this, and that is true and accurate. But there is a belief that Samhain existed even before all of that, before the Celts, before all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is in Ireland there are
My God, I hate you.
there are then there's one in particular, but Neolithic monuments which appear to have been created in alignment to the rising sun on Samhain morning. And one in particular is the Mound of Hostages. And I believe this is located in County Meath, if that's correct. I'm gonna assume that's how it's
you're not sure?
pronounced.
Oh, your Irish blood isn't giving it to you in
Shut
this
the
moment?
Fuck up. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In County Meath, located by the Hill of Tara. And it is an ancient burial tomb housing the remains of an estimated 250 to 500 bodies. So on Samhain morning, So on Samhain morning, and a lot of people gather around, like this is a huge thing, and they go to the Mount of Hostages to watch the sunrise and to watch the sun hit inside the tomb on Samhain morning. And so all of this and these structures predate the Celts. So there's some belief there that people were celebrating this in some form or fashion way before all of that. And there's some legend, actually. And speaking of my DNA heritage, the Mound of Hostages also relates to...
Could you be
Niall.
any more smug when you say that?
No.
Speaking of my DNA heritage.
Shut up. Shut up. Let me live my fantasy.
You do understand that, like, what we are is, like, the fucking, like, mutts of Europe. Like, we're, like on the
No,
totem pole.
absolutely
I feel
not.
like where we are is, like, maybe not necessarily a sense of pride.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And here's why.
And here's why. The podcast just takes
why.
a hard left turn into you talking about Ireland for like fucking
No.
4 hours.
And here's why. So, myself, along with about 3 million other people, have a common DNA ancestor. His name was Niall of the 9 Hostages. Mm-hmm. And he has a pretty interesting story where he was one of the great kings of Tara at the time. Mm-hmm. And legend has it that when he was born, his mother was like the side chick to this really big deal king. Mm-hmm. And his wife was this lady called Mongfind.
I feel like we're getting into like this weird Miami street gang story, but
His wife was
Mong gang.
Mongfind.
Mongfind.
Yeah. And she was supposedly, or legend has it, to be this a witch, some call her.
Okay.
And
Me
she
too.
didn't like that her
I take it as a
husband-
compliment.
Well, she didn't like that her husband was diddling somebody else and had another baby. Mm-hmm. So everybody was afraid of this bitch, this Mongfind person, right? So they used to have feasts in her name because they were afraid of her. And so young
Sounds like a
Niall,
good
when he
idea.
was a baby, was left to die, and he was found by some person who took him in. And then he eventually, it's that story of like, you know, he grew up and then eventually like claimed the throne back. It's the evil stepmom story, you know, that sort of thing.
Wait, is Mongfind
But
the evil
Mongfind-
stepmom?
Yeah. But she's...
fucking typecasting.
Right.
These fucking
But
people.
some people
It's fine.
refer to Mongfind as like a personified form of Samhain. So it's weird because legend gets mixed into that. So I just find it personally interesting that I have always had a very deep, and I will say this, and you can laugh at me all you want to, but I have a very deep spiritual connection with this holiday and its roots. And the reason why I get so excited about what my DNA, heritage, whatever have you, is that it has just confirmed it for me. It has confirmed what I've already known, that I have roots into this holiday. I, have a connection, again, granted, with 3 million other people.
Right.
Because Niall got around. He was like, he's one of the few people, it's like Niall and like Genghis Khan. Like, they had like a shit ton of kids. So like a lot of the world's population stem
Is Neil
from them.
just like all white people's ancestor though? Like, is that a thing?
No. There's there's about 3 million people. The highest concentrations, of course, are in Ireland. And then there's some scattered around, mostly like in upstate, like New York, you find a bunch of them, and then some down this way too. So,
Okay.
But it's in Ireland is where you find most of the, there's like statistics, it's like 2 out of every 3 men are like related to him in Ireland. So anyway, so that's just something that I found interesting. But the overall theme of Samhain, of course, is death. So I can't think of anything better that goes with death than food.
That is true. We do. I think that's a Southern thing. We eat when people die. We just fucking consume food.
Yeah.
Everybody brings food to your house. Everybody's trying to feed you for days afterward. Like you have like been starving or whatever. It's like they think if they feed you, then they just make you better.
Yeah. No.
There's a weird connection in the South between food and death.
It works for me.
Yeah, I mean, clearly.
The title of my autobiography, it works for me.
Food, it works for me.
It works for me. So, an old tradition would be to host what is called a dumb supper.
All right. I'm interested.
A dumb supper.
I'll hold my jokes for now.
Again,
I think it might be pandering.
Again, we host this dumb supper on Samhain because the thinness of the veils, the thinness of the walls.
The thinness of the walls.
So I'm here today to talk to you guys about how to throw the perfect dumb supper. Okay.
Is it dumb? I'm sorry.
No, it's dumb.
Is
It's
it
called dumb.
because you don't speak?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
So I feel like you're disparaging your subject matter. I'm going to tell you how to throw a dumb supper.
In this dumb podcast.
Dumb supper. This dumb podcast.
podcast.
It'd be really hard to have a dumb podcast. We could just not speak for an hour.
The dumb
10
episode. That's what we have.
Just silence. It's very John Cage.
Yes.
That was a highbrow reference for our highbrow listeners.
Right. So keep in mind, this is a time of death and resurrection, of new beginnings and fond farewells. So please keep in mind that there is no one right way to hold a dumb supper except for how I tell you.
Okay. I was like, I fucking cannot stand that when an article or anything will do that, when they'll just be like, oh, I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it. First step, there's no right way to do it. So I'm full of shit.
I'm going to tell you
But
how to
keep
do
reading.
it. So you can essentially serve whatever it is that you want.
Okay.
But because we are in the throes of Halloween and Samhain, you may want to make the traditional soul cakes like we mentioned, or serving dishes with apples. Mm-hmm. You might could have some bobbin for apples on the side later, maybe.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Find out your husband later. You killed one husband and then you bobbed for another
I
one.
just put 8 apples in there and they're all marked with my mark. Good luck. Love you, babe. Me.
You could do late fall vegetables or any type of game.
Ooh, I love a root vegetable. I love a fall root vegetable. It's good. Some squash.
You should set the table with black cloth,
All right.
black plates,
Got it.
black cutlery,
Got it.
black napkins.
Got it.
Did I say black candles?
You didn't.
Black candles.
Good.
And your candles should be your only source of light.
Great.
No different. It sounds like the podcast, really.
I mean, yeah. I'm like looking
I'm looking
around.
around like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, here we go. Well, in
Ain't
this
got no
article,
damn
it
food,
says
though.
realistically, not everyone has black dishware sitting around. Excuse
Who?
you, sir.
Who? Where?
Doesn't? Where? Huh?
I opened my fucking pantry or my cabinets and it's just all black.
Black? Exactly. They say here that it's perfectly acceptable to use a combination of black and white, although black should be the predominant color. I might have a hint of orange, but white? No.
Honey, nobody's getting married.
No, exactly. So you were the host or hostess of your dumb supper.
Will you please come to my dumb supper?
So clearly, the point is that no one can speak. So you would imagine that would make the host's job pretty tricky.
I mean,
Right?
it sounds
Can you
peaceful as
imagine
fuck
that?
to me, though.
But could you imagine that? Like you're greeting your guests, like they can't knock. You open the door and you just don't say anything. Sounds like a good time to me.
I mean, I'm into it.
so this means that
It sounds like after we finish the podcast, but when we still are hanging out and we just don't, we've spoken to each other enough, so we just exist beside you. We just plop
we just
down
plop
onto
and
the
we're done.
couch
All of the
mutually.
energy. So depending on the size of your table, you may want to make sure each has their own salt and pepper, their own individually carved jack-o'-lantern stick of butter.
You love a theme butter.
I do love.
Did
a
you
theme
fucking
butter.
add that in there, or was
I
it
did
in
add
there?
that in there.
Okay,
They do add
bitch.
that you should provide each section with their own butter, but for me it would be a jack-o'-lantern.
I knew
butter.
that you were fucking adding shit.
And you should also be careful to see if any of your guests need a drink refill and an extra fork to replace the one that they dropped.
Is this from fucking like Martha Stewart's like spinoff occult site? Like, where did you find
This
that?
is where-
Just make sure that your guests have like plenty
I
of
appreciate it.
refreshments.
Listen.
Sometimes people get parched.
Listen, I appreciate it. So, in some pagan traditions, it has become popular to hold a dumb supper in honor of the dead. And again, like we said, in this case, the word dumb refers to being silent. And the origins of this tradition have been fairly well debated. Some claim it goes back to the ancient cultures. Others believe that it is a relatively new idea. Regardless, there's lots of people that observe this all around the world. I mean, even if you think there are variations within, like Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
So there are variations of it around the world. But you should always make sure first, when you're preparing for your guests, that your dining area is sacred, either by casting a circle. You should maybe smudge the area.
Always a good choice.
And you should turn off your fucking cell phones and your television and eliminate any outside distractions.
Get out of your
Eliminate
goddamn
any outside
phone.
distraction. Someone's outside, like, getting groceries out their car, and you just silently get up
And just like
open the
stare
door.
daggers at them,
and just fucking pull out a gun and just...
but with
and
a
then go
silencer
back.
on it.
But with the silencer, exactly. Second, remember that this is a solemn and silent occasion. This is not a carnival. This is not a carnival. It is a time of silence, as the name reminds us. So you might want to leave your fucking young kids out of it.
Don't bring your children.
No. This is not a supper for kids. They don't have...
This is not a podcast for kids. This is not a supper for kids.
No.
Not intended for children.
And then you should also ask each adult guest to bring a note to the dinner. The note's contents will be kept private and should contain what they wish to say to their deceased friends or relatives. So once you set a place at the table for each guest and you should reserve the head of the table for the place of the spirits. Although it's nice to have a place setting for each individual you wish to honor, sometimes it's just not feasible. So instead, you just use a little tea light candle and you light that thing up, and you can use that to represent each of the deceased that you wish to honor. And you're supposed to shroud the spirit chair in black cloth. Or white. But black is what we'll say.
I mean, I'm not coming. If you're trying to raise me for the dumb dinner, I'm not coming.
No.
If you use a white cloth. I'm just letting you know.
You step in and it's like, oh, black cloth, no thank you.
I look terrible in white.
No. So, no one may speak from the time they enter the dining room, and as each guest enter the room, they should take a moment to stop at the spirit chair and offer a silent prayer to the dead. Once everyone is seated, join hands and take a moment to silently bless the meal. The host or hostess, who should be seated directly across from the spirit chair, serves the meal to guests in order of age from the oldest to youngest. And absolutely nobody should eat a motherfucking thing until all guests, including spirit, are served. The spirit chair is served. When everyone is finished eating, each guest should get out the note to the dead that they brought, and then they should go to the head of the table where the spirit sits and find the candle for your deceased loved one. Focus on the note and then burn it in the candle's flame. You may wish to have a plate or a small cauldron on hand to catch the burning bits of paper, and then return to their seat. When everyone has had their turn, join hands once again and offer a silent prayer to the dead. And then everyone leaves the room in silence. You stop at the spirit chair on your way out of the door and say goodbye one last time.
I like that. I think we should have a dumb supper. I like that. That's very sweet.
I think so too.
It's very, because a lot of the stuff, like, I don't get into the Ouija board. I don't get into because I don't know, something about that seems very hokey and it seems very demanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this seems very respectful.
It's like
honorable. It's not right. No, seriously. It's like, come if you want to. Here's, some thoughts that I wanted to give you. It's not, what I don't like about the Ouija board is like, spirit, you're with us. Like, tell us what the future is. Like, tell us this, tell me that. It's like you don't fucking owe me.
I'm like, how would a spirit know what the fuck the future is? They're in the past.
Well, the theory
and or the present.
The theory is that since they've crossed onto another plane, that they're connected with all that has been and all that will be, and that they kind of have that sort of knowledge.
I don't know that I believe that.
I do actually believe that, but I don't like. My thing is, like, if you've passed on,
it's very self-serving.
It is. It's very self-serving. It's very selfish. And my thing is, if you've passed on and you care about me, and there's something that I need to know, you gonna find a way to tell me.
Mm-hmm. Buy a plate of food.
You gonna find a way to tell me. So otherwise, if you don't have anything to say to me, like, that's fine. I don't know. I could get down with the whole dumb supper concept because I think it's respectful and it's honoring your dead instead of poking them for answers, you know? And it's also very specific. It's a specific intention type of thing. Everybody comes there with a specific person in mind that they're focusing on, that they, want to send an intention to. And I'm very with that whole concept.
Yeah,
I think it's very cool.
Respectable. I think that the idea of just, they have their own place setting. They're being served their own food.
Right.
It's just it's more about them and less about you.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's your dumb supper.
I like it. We should do one. So I have just a few more little interesting tidbits that were connected to the holiday that I thought were interesting. So I'll share those with you guys before we close out. You talked a lot about black in your segment.
I did.
Black obviously has been connected with Halloween for a long time and the dead and spooky things and creepy things and all that good stuff. But I wondered why black and orange were symbolic for Halloween, why those two colors were chosen. And these two specific colors, black and orange, are both traced back to the Celtic festival of Samhain, obviously. Black represented the death of summer, while orange is emblematic of the autumn harvest season. Harvest season. Yeah.
Harvest.
So black, death of summer, orange, autumn harvest season makes sense.
Yeah.
It's really not any deeper than that.
Black and orange is literally like one of my favorite color combos.
It's amazing. And orange is Orange by itself is a color, they call it like the color of disaster because it's the color orange. They did a study, I don't know where. I don't have fucking facts for you people. But they did a study and the human brain, when it sees orange, it kind of like automatically almost goes into panic mode because it's a weird color that kind of like triggers our pay attention.
Like cautionary.
Right. Which is why a lot of caution signs are made out of orange. When it's paired with the black, it's like elevated
Danger.
to right, because in nature that bright orange and black rarely are together in the same place, and when they are, it's on something like a very poisonous spider or something you don't want to fuck with, like a tree frog that is also poisonous.
Me
or
as I
whatever.
pull up to work in my black and orange car.
Right. Right. So those colors are very like eye-catching. But I've always gravitated towards them, and I know you have too.
Mm-hmm. Some people, there's some people that like the purple and black for Halloween. That's fine. Some people like the green and black. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely an orange and black type of guy.
I'm an orange and black for my bread and butter, but I will love some purple getting in there. I will love some green getting in there. I love purple and black together all the time.
Yeah.
But I'll get a little purple and green side action.
Yeah.
But the orange and black is home base.
Yeah.
So another very heated topic in relation to Halloween is candy corn.
Oh, God. Fuck off.
Where did it come from? Where did it go?
Don't care.
Cut-Eye Joe.
Don't care.
No.
Candy corn is disgusting.
Fuck you. You like it with peanuts. I will fight you.
Let me finish.
We've talked about it on the show before. Mix it with peanuts. It's amazing.
Yes.
2 parts peanuts, 1 part candy corn. You'll never go wrong.
Yeah. Tastes just like a payday.
It's great. I actually think that it's because paydays are made out of like that caramel wax shit and peanuts.
I don't even like paydays.
Really?
But no, I don't like paydays. But I like the candy corn and peanuts that taste like a paydays.
Interesting. So according to legend, a candy maker at the Wonderly Candy Company in Philadelphia invented candy corn in the 1880s. The treats didn't become a widespread phenomenon until another company brought the candy to the masses in 1898. At the time, candy corn was called chicken feed and sold in boxes that read, "Something worth crowing for." Originally, candy corn was just generic autumn season candy because of corn's association with harvest time. But candy corn became Halloween specific when trick-or-treating rose to prominence in the 1950s.
You know, they say there's that meme that's going around that says if you stack the candy corn, it looks like a kernel of corn.
No, I haven't seen that.
Not a kernel of corn, but a cob of corn.
A cob of corn?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, if you take the candy corn and you stack it triangle sides together into a round shape, and then you just stack them, it turns into a corn.
Well, because it's shaped like fucking corn kernels.
Yeah, but
Why is that news to the internet?
It's not news to the internet, but the fact that you can actually stack them, and it looks like an actual fucking cob of corn.
But why wouldn't it if you were just copying
because regular
the shape?
fucking kernels of corn don't have sharp triangular pointed spaces. If you're eating them, you bite them and it turns into like yellow mush.
Well, that's just because you bit it, though. I don't know. I'm not wowed.
Katie's not impressed by anything.
I don't know why I'm not wowed, but I'm just
You
not.
would just have to see the picture of it.
Okay.
Because it looks like fucking corn, like actual corn.
Kenny's like, it looks amazing, and I've never seen anything like it.
It looks like corn, and I like it.
It looks like corn, and it's not corn, and it's candy corn that's made based on real corn, but it looks like corn.
Fuck you. God.
That's literally what
Why
they
do I
commented.
host a podcast with you?
I don't
'Cause
know.
I love you.
So this brings me to my final question of the evening. My
Question?
final question in my exploration of Halloween. What the fuck is so spooky about bats?
I love bats.
Me too.
I absolutely love bats. I think they are adorable, even though they carry rabies.
They're so cute. Just get them a shot. It's fine. Vaccinate them. They'll be good.
They carry rabies. But they, I guess, because they have that association with vampires, which is also into the Halloween spirit. So people just find them creepy. I guess people just find screaming rodents with wings.
Okay, go fuck yourself,
Frightening.
because there's the cutest video online. There's a lot of cute videos of bats that are just so cute with their cute freaking little tiny faces and their pig noses. And
I love them.
But the answer is biology, of course. So it's likely that bats were present at even the earliest celebrations of proto-Halloween, and not just symbolically, but literally. As part of Samhain, the Celts lit large bonfires. And if you've ever lit, I mean, we grew up in the South, so we know this. But if you ever lit a bonfire or a fire out in the woods, what happens?
Them bats go flying away.
No. No. Thank you, Kenny. Insects. The light and the heat attracts insects to the fire. The insects, in turn, attracted bats because bats eat insects. So the bats soon became associated with the festival. Medieval folklore expanded upon the spooky connotation of bats with a number of superstitions that were built around the idea that the bats were the harbingers of death, since death is such a big theme in Samhain in general. Mm-hmm. So that's how we ended up with these adorable little creatures being seen as so spooky, when really they just want love and to spread the rabies that is devouring their brain.
Yeah. Just want to give you my rabies.
Just want to give you my love in the form of jaw-locking, brain-eating rabies.
Yes.
Tinder
And then the
profile,
cloud
right there.
forms.
Got it.
Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi. Hi, I'm Katie.
That should be the title of this episode. Hi, I'm Katie.
No, that'll be my episode when you're done with me, and I just have to do it on my own. That'll be my episode when you go to the desert of Nevada.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Hi,
No,
I'm
but
Katie.
except I would never go to the desert in Nevada.
That's what would be so weird about it.
Where
If
would
I
I go?
if I ever come on to the show and I'm like, well, Kenny's in the desert in Nevada exploring, like you guys need to know
I'm dead.
something's wrong.
I'm
Like
dead.
he's not with us.
I will not be in a desert.
And I'm
at
in
any
denial.
point. I will not be in a desert at any point. So
Come
just
come
listen
find
to
me,
that, please.
help me.
She's
Get me some
probably the one that killed me,
resources.
though. So she's probably the one that buried my fucking ass in the desert, because I would never go there live and willing.
I wouldn't put you in the desert. I would put you in a place that you love. I would scatter you in Ireland. And on the breeze, I would just hear,
Oh,
and I would be like, God damn it.
son of a bitch.
I just throw your fucking urn off the cliff.
You just fucking kick it off the cliff.
Asshole.
And then as it goes away, you just hear,
I love it.
fucking bitch.
Well,
And then I'd come back to haunt your fucking ass at the dumb supper.
it's true. You
I'd
would.
just fucking sit there and just knock over.
You'd
the
eat
fucking
all the
plates.
mac and cheese and then knock everybody else's plates over.
Yeah. You try to burn me a note, and I just fucking fling it back out of the fire.
Asshole.
Fuck you.
I know what you want to say.
So that is our episode.
That's our episode. That's Ireland Part 2, the Halloween version.
You knew it was coming. I knew it was coming way back when I started this podcast, when I realized that Halloween was going to be falling on a Wednesday and that we would be doing like lots of spooky October shit. I was like, it's coming. So I'm pretty excited still.
My calendar told me. I was like, it's coming. It's on my calendar. It comes every year. I know.
But yes, and this is a very special time of the year for us, like we have mentioned. So we are so excited to be able to talk about it and share with you guys the stuff that we know and love, and that you should know and love as well.
And you well do. We have a lot of spooky, wonderful listeners that we adore. If you have any special Halloween stories, we always love a good story, as you know.
Yes.
Email us or write us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group. It is the Haunted Heart Podcast. If you search the Haunted Heart Podcast on Facebook, you will find the closed group. If you request to join, we will approve you, and then you can be part of our family and enjoy all of the good discussion that we have there. You can also find us on Instagram at The Haunted Heart Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at The Haunted Heart. And feel free to reach out to us on any of those platforms. But really, if you want to get a message to us right away, shoot us an email at thehauntedheartpodcast@gmail.com. That's often the best place to send like stories that you have for us, because it's just a lot easier to keep track of it there.
Yeah.
But we would love to hear your Halloween stories about
Yes.
traditions that you have, things that have happened to you on Halloween, that time you were murdered on Halloween, all that stuff.
Send us, because we can read that for our Halloween episode. I would love to do that.
Yes, that would be great.
So send us some spooky shit that you love. We'll read it on air on Halloween, or for our live, and or whichever.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Yes, which brings me to another piece of business, that we are going to do a live Halloween party sort of thing on Halloween. We will have details about that posted in the Facebook group. We'll probably also put it on Instagram, but we will be going live in our Facebook group. So you will need to be part of the Facebook group to join that fun. So it should be a really good time. This year, we wanted to kind of incorporate you guys in our Halloween celebration, because you have become so important to us, and we love our little haunted family.
All right, guys. So
Until next time, stay spooky.